must be done.
You say either, I say either.
Today, we settle one of the most contentious debates of the English language once and for all. Is it tomato or tomato? Well, I can tell you for a fact that it is not tomato. There is no N in the word, so please don't add an N sound when you say it. But which is it, tomato or tomato? Well, the answer is quite simple. The English say tomato and the Americans say tomato. But which one should you say? Well, in my utterly unbiased opinion, which has nothing to do with the fact that today is the birthday of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II, I believe that since English is the language of England, it is only right that we say it as the English intended. Now, the irony is that the word actually originates from a French word tomate, which referred to the plant Solanum lycopersicum that bore the juicy red fruit of the same name. The English adopted the word and turned it into tomato. For some reason, the Americans have a strong aversion to the R sound coming out of the letter A, so they made it tomato, and a classic conundrum was born. But today, we can cease fire. The matter is settled. It's tomato for the Americans and tomato for the British. In other words, tomato for the win. So I've ended the debate, Anna.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, but some also say tomato. Tomato. My late grandmother used to say tomatis.
Tomatis, yes.
Yeah,
I hear some
yeah.
fancy say tomatis.
Yes.
But in Cape Coast, there's a village called Kwapro, which is on UCC campus. And that's where I heard someone say Tomas.
Tomas. But the most powerful ones is tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
You've not heard before?
Tomatoes.
Akumadan tomatoes.
Dr. Kofi Koledo Aprebu. Anyway, let's get to the news review this morning. It's brought to us by a news review brought to us by Milo, energy to go further.
All right, what's in the papers?
Let me start with the Daily Graphic. It's reporting this morning that there's some connivance in printing textbooks offshore. So the Education Ministry, you know that there's been a very long conversation about textbooks, actually gave the contracts. These publishers, we understand, the printing industry in Ghana is very worried that they're choosing to go print it elsewhere and depriving them of the work they have gotten from that. And this is contrary to what the minister expressly stated.
Yeah,
That
I remember that.
there's a reason why we want to build our value chain here. So don't take it out there. But the minister says those who be caught doing that will be dealt with. So that's on the front page. There's one also, failure to settle fees. KNUST defers 6,000 students. That issue came up yesterday. In fact, it was interesting hearing the university officer from on Midday News mentioning some of the things that they have been told the students have been using the money for. Top on the list is betting.
Oh, Charlie.
Also, he also mentioned that they sometimes use it for some of these taxi hailing services. You buy the car, then use it for the service. Then they have been using it for other business entrepreneurial ventures. And well, I mean, ideally, I understand why some of these things happen. I remember so many years ago, there was a conversation about students not being entrepreneurial enough, so they needed to try something. And I think it's taking a risk to a different level by doing some of these things. But students having to own photocopier machines, students having to do some of these things, I encourage you fully, except that you manage the risk. My bigger problem is that, in fact, I own University of Buckingham. There's no second day if I actually say, hey, we are deferring or we deferred you because of this. They've never said that. What they'll do is to remind you in a very nice letter that, if
you don't pay, you won't
graduate. They're just letting you know ahead of time. But having to defer the students, when they come, will they go back to school? When they pay, will they eventually go back, or they lose an entire year merely because they are unable to pay money that's already supposed to be subvented? At the core of this is also because the schools are getting the fees from the students. The chunk of it was supposed to be paid by government. This conversation, right from having a district's time, was supposed to be settled. But indirectly, they are basically asking the students to pay more.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's happening with the NHIA, isn't it? That we all understand certain things need to be free, or actually covered by, the health insurance scheme. But they are not because the money doesn't come. So it's kind of the same situation
providing the service of
universities are facing right now. It's a pity. It's a pity because these
but
young
can't allow
people,
6,000 to drop out merely because they can't pay fees.
that is serious.
So many other reasons can account for this, but merely because they can't pay fees. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, as somebody said last night, it's a step up. Back in my day, when kids chopped their school fees, it wasn't because they were entrepreneurs. It was, just because they were bad.
Anyway.
All right, what else?
The Business Finder economy grows 5.4% in 2021 as debt to GDP drops to 76.4%. Explore Ghana's limitless untapped business opportunities. IMF World Bank pledge more support for struggling economies.
Let's get to the Chronicle for this morning. And, beloved, let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to those who scheme iniquity, who work out evil on their beds. When morning comes, they do it, for it is in the power of their hands.
Wow.
Sisala West NPP executives say Upper West Minister is abusing his powers, and they blame him for Cutler's attack on Nasara coordinator. Hafiz bin Salih denies charges and insists the law will take its course. So you can see the picture of the Nasara coordinator here, currently receiving treatment in the hospital. Also on the front page, 5,650 persons slaughtered in Koti and Ashanti. Now they died through road accidents from January 2020. Now, Ghana's debt to GDP ratio reduces to 76%. That story talked about because the economy, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, grew by 5.4%. Not the around the 4% earlier estimated. And so based on that growth, it increases the size of the economy, and automatically the debt to GDP reduces from 81% to 76%. Let's look at the back pages. What's your...
I've not said anything.
What's your challenge? I'm looking at your face.
Okay.
What's your challenge?
My face is not communicating anything.
Your face is communicating doubt. Your face is communicating
Oh no, I am. Well, the reality we know.
Okay. So you see, the face is communicating some doubt. Yes, they say we speak with our vocal cords, but communicate with our whole body.
Yeah. Well, you, on the other hand, communicated no doubt whatsoever. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Yeah. Because the fact is, that's what has happened. Raymond's doubt is the reality.
Yeah.
And the reality is, in quoting Dr. Bamia, no matter what you say, the reality of the economy is what people feel in their pockets. And that statement is profound. No matter what you say, the reality of the economy is what people feel in their pockets. And referee Kenny Paddy suspended over dubious penalty in Haas defeat to Kotoko. The victory stands notwithstanding. NSA denies report on CAF rejecting Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
Now, the Daily Statesman is reporting this morning 3.5 million Ghanaians to have internet access by 2023. Debt sustainability stabilizes. Ghana records 2021 GDP growth of 5.4% to beat forecast. Now, government releases 67 million to colleges of education. It's not as if we have reduced the debt.
No, we've not reduced
it. Yeah,
it.
not one bit. We still have the except that the base, the GDP we're comparing to, is what has been. What they call it. Anyway, economy, jobs, education, topmost priorities of Ghanaians. That's also in the Daily Statesman. Economy, jobs, education. That's what's being listed here.
So, government has released 67 million
to College of Education.
After the
good news, right?
It's good news.
Yeah.
But can we continue to do this? Should we continue to do this? We talked about it yesterday.
Yes.
Why don't we stop this?
I'll not be sure that by the end of the government will release money for Clocksack 2 and say that they are neutrality. Why are we not paying neutrality allowance?
We will come back to the Clocksack.
No, why are we not paying
But Winston, there's still a hanging issue.
neutrality allowance?
There's still a hanging issue on this.
For being neutral.
For being neutral.
What else is it for?
For being neutral.
People are being paid to be neutral.
Yeah.
And you
We will come back to our
Okay.
we will come back because you see, look,
they paid me to be neutral. Can you
to
imagine?
colleges of education.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the full amount.
That's not the full.
that's
No, this one is for the 2020-2021 academic year.
Yes.
Government was supposed to pay over 111 million Ghanaian cedis to the colleges of education for the feeding grants. Now, they have paid that. But the first quarter for the 2022 or the 2021-2022 academic year, that one has not been paid yet because it has just started. Now, we know very well that per the arrangement of the teacher trainee allowances, 200 cedis goes to them as allowance, and then 200 goes into the feeding grants. Now, what has been paid for is the feeding grants aspect. So we are likely to hear the trainees again talking about the allowances that they are
Should take their time.
entitled
They are
to.
having food. They should just eat
So
it.
that's a bit of challenge that
Look,
we are likely
let
to
me,
witness
let me
again.
tell you
Yeah.
something. In this country,
Yeah.
we have talked about increased enrollments in senior high schools. We have seen the first batch of free SHS complete and go to school. It's big news. We're seeing increased enrollment, and so it means that over a period, our tertiary institutions would also have to be expanded to take care of these increased enrollments. What are we doing? We're in this country where today we're complaining. In fact, we've had to collateralize Get Fund to get loans to complete projects. We are using 200 million Ghana cedis annually, giving it to students as allowances, when we can actually use these funds to build educational infrastructure. Over the last 20 years, how many colleges of education have we built in this country? Over the last 20 years, how many polytechnics have we built in this country?
We've renamed them.
We've renamed them.
Yeah.
So you see, instead of using these monies to build infrastructure, expand the existing infrastructure, we're spending it on consumption.
Literally.
Yes.
Consumption.
Feeding
Feeding.
students who can actually take loans. Yesterday, the last man who called into the show said in his time he didn't even take church any allowance.
Yeah.
He went to the University College of Education for his diploma, no allowance. Took a loan. Went to the University of Cape Coast, took a student's loan, which he paid using his contribution. Why can't these students go for loans? Must we always be a Father Christmas and then we'll turn around and complain and say, oh, government has done well? The population is telling you, you are not putting our taxes to good use.
Yeah.
You are not putting our taxes. It's not government's money.
All right.
Anyway, let's continue with the other
My
news.
last paper is a Delhi guide. 5 grabbed over mob justice, and this happened in the Ashanti region. Nana consoles Dagheward Mills. Then Mahama exit best for NDC. That's what a political science lecturer is saying. And President's daughter words. It comes with Kwabena Juma and Edwina Akufo-Addo. MPP welcomes EIU report. And the back page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Liverpool Man U show Ronaldo love. Black Stars new boy lifts Belgian cup.
So the wedding, no? So what we saw previously was knocking or what?
Engagement.
Engagement.
That one was
Traditional wedding.
Traditional wedding.
Yeah, traditional marriage.
Oh, that's the proper marriage.
Yeah.
They are all married.
That's the proper marriage.
But in relation to marriage, Rita Dominic is married at age 46.
Let's get to the new crusading.
Who is Rita Dominic?
She's a Nigerian actress.
Oh, okay, congratulations to her.
Yeah.
She's been trending over the last 3 or 4 days. The new crusading guide says Muhammad dismisses EIU report over calls for a new NDC flag bearer. 3.5 million Ghanaians to be connected to internet by end of next year. Adenta Accountancy Road in a solid state, abandoned by the Adenta Municipal Assembly. Gezim Bank empowers private sector to explore and develop natural resources in Volta, LOT regions.
That's nice. All right, shall we go online?
Sure.
The online review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy.
And Gold, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life so convenient for you. Gold now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at key selected stations. Just remember to Momo it at Goyle. That's not all. You can also use your bank card to buy fuel at Goyle, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to Goyle stations now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo or a bank card, and you're good to go. Visit Goal's social media platforms: Facebook, Goal.official, Instagram, Goal_GH, and on Twitter, Goal_official for more information on the service stations you can conveniently use. Goal, good energy, Goal. Yeah.
MyJoyOnline.com has some deferred students use fees for betting, buying vehicles, and bakery. And that's according to KNUST management. That was a story that really made waves yesterday. Hey, Charlie. Okay, CityNewsroom.com has colleges of education are special. Current structures require we feed students. And that is the chair of Prinkov saying this. We spoke to the same person yesterday, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, on BBC this morning, we're not stupid. If we draw, Liverpool will win title.
Who's saying that? Okay.
Pep.
Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
Of course, he doesn't have to draw at this point. He must win all matches. Yeah. That's very true. Man United couldn't do him a favor.
No, you failed. All right, world faces hunger catastrophe from invasion. This is once again about the Ukrainian situation. Am I the only one who is just wondering why this thing is continuing? The people say they will not join NATO. They cannot join NATO. What again?
They don't believe it. I think now it's reached the ego point where the polls are aligning, the negotiations are not really working well, but people fear Russian negotiations, that you may be saying one thing with Russia and getting a different result elsewhere. And the other parties, the third parties in this conflict, who are almost like the main parties, are also actively massing up. So whilst there's a conversation of, let's de-escalate, on the other side, there's reality. It's almost like Cold War over again.
So who amongst us said that this war will only last a few weeks? Who's going to own up to that claim?
You have a name mentioned.
I have a name, the BBC. The BBC. They bring us the news right now, thanks to Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
Maybe we will feel.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Cratchy, my vehicles are my investment. It is a winning, now winning, and you buy any fuel apart from Goil. Waboka, sign this undertaking.
But he was right?
Yes, and he's right. Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station at Jibedia. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP, higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Good energy. We love the easy way, fast and convenient life with simple payment solutions. You should love it too. It's what Glover promises. It's what Glover does. It's what Glover is. Glover is Bay. Glover is Boss. Glover is the app of possibilities. Up your possibilities with the app that's seamless and easy to use. It's the Glover way. Trade gift cards, convert airtime to cash, and pay your cable TV and electricity bills on Glover app. Trade perfect money too. It's fast, easy, and convenient on the platform that's the leading digital assets marketplace. Download the app today on Play Store or App Store to enjoy all our financial services with ease. Glover, one app, many possibilities.
When the world looks at my child, they just see an energetic 8-year-old. But I see more. My Lucy is going to become captain of her school volleyball team, keep excelling in class, and do great things one day. I see a champion. So when I give her Milo with her breakfast every day, it's all part of waking up the champion in her.
Don't just wake up your child, wake up the champion in her. Let Milo with Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa help wake up the champion in your child every day. Milo, energy